Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the one and only Rumboyz Fantasy Network. This is Rumboyz After Dark. It's your boy Rumboyz Robbie. Am I feeling slightly under the weather today? I am, but we're gonna push through. We're gonna give you guys a spectacular show. We're gonna have a great fucking time. We got the homies backstage. Really quick, I just want to remind everybody right out the gate: download the Stacks app, stacksapp.io, available on iOS and Android for all for your ability to be able to access any of your favorite sports analysts and be able to ask them questions and interact on topics and make content with them. Download the Stacks app, stacksapp.io. I also want to remind everybody about Monkey Knife Fight, monkeyknifefight.com. What the hell? Ladies and gentlemen, please download the Monkey Knife Fight app. If you guys have not already done so, available on iOS and Android, or you can just log into monkeyknifefight.com. Use promo code RUMBOYS upon sign up, and my crew and I, we're going to match you on your very first deposit all the way up to $100. So if you put down 100, we're going to match you on 100. You put down 50, we're going to match you on 50. So on and so forth, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you take advantage of this opportunity. monkeyknifefight.com, promo code RUMBOYS. We're going to match you on your very first deposit all the way up to $100. Next, I would like to remind everyone about our homies over at All22. That is all-22.com, powered by PFF, the brand new fantasy football format, including a full 53-man roster. That's right. Think of it as your Madden franchise mode, if you will. You'll be able to draft everything from a whole entire offensive line to kick returners to punters, you name it. You're able to get skin on the full game of football with all22.com. That is all-22. Promo code RUMBOYS to receive 40% off your subscription. Again, that is promo code RUMBOYS to receive 40% off your subscription. We'll have that streaming at the bottom of this show the whole time. Let's go ahead without further ado. Let's get into this with the whole entire cast and crew. Ladies and gentlemen, first up, give it up. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop the mic, FF.
It's Friday night, and I feel all right. This is how we do it.
Amen. Let's go. Next up, representing the QTB podcast, give it up for David Gillespie.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? Glad to be back once again. I, like Robbie, feel like absolute shit right now. I feel like someone shot a fucking flamethrower down my throat, but the people need their champion, so I had to answer the call.
Exactly. No, this is our flu game. I see the donuts rolling through. Pang said fins up. Dono high from both Pang and C-Yard. $6 right out the gate there. Total between those two donos. We greatly appreciate you. Make sure that you sign up for Rumboyz Premium as well to receive full access to every single one of our parlay cards and DFS lineups. I see we got the homie Goquan in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, backstage, last but certainly not least, representing TDS, the Daily Sport, and give it up for TDS Taco.
To quote the Slim Shady, guess who's back? Back again.
Not Taco.
Yeah. So many people sounding so white when they're trying to, perform their own version of like Eminem and any other rap artists out there on the show.
Hey, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I am whatever I say I am in the paper, the news every day, and then
Shut
Shady
the fuck.
is what I am.
Well, it'd be so empty without me.
Cheers to you, all the Rumboys and girls. What it do, Dilly. Let's go.
Dilly.
At least I didn't quote Backstreet Boys. I was gonna be like, "Oh my God, I'm back again."
Wow.
Oh fuck! I think you just did, and
Hey, Taco. I have another song that you should sing.
Oh fuck!
Bye, bye, bye.
Oh my gosh. Fuck no. All right, we are done with karaoke for tonight, gentlemen.
Yeah,
YSF Dre up in the chat. What's good, Goquan?
Oh,
Justin up in here. He's saying, "Yo, this is about to be a tough week for sure." Make sure you guys load up those fantasy football questions.
Here's the big one right here. 2 years older
Oh,
Velus
God.
Jones says, hello once again, Senor Gillespie.
How many fucking accounts has this guy created? It's like there's no way to kill him off. It's like there's just when one account is gone,
Just
the
call him
next one
Kenny.
fucking, is resurrected. Like it's
Rumboyz Kenny.
Read off triple for the
Seriously, it
guards.
is.
Good. I have the guards. I'm
And
clearing out my chest right now, dude. I know how it feels.
Jamie
Yeah,
says,
we're gonna talk about the Giants
Oh
and
my
NFC East recap throughout the show. Let's go ahead. First things first, though. I feel like that Dilly Dilly wasn't solid enough. Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Rumboyz and girls. What it do, Dilly Dilly? We're gonna get into the first topic here.
Robbie, I got the chat room if you want me to.
All good. So there was a football game last night, as always on Rumboyz After Dark. We start off with our Thursday night football recap. Last night, the Pittsburgh Steelers visited the Cleveland Browns. What are our thoughts on last night's game? Is it time to bring in Pickett? Thoughts on Najee Harris from a fantasy aspect? Are they gonna start getting these receivers the ball more? Are they gonna start spreading around? A lot of concerns in Pittsburgh, Mike.
So I'm just going to start off by saying one thing. No, it's not time for frickin' Kenny Pickett.
No, not yet.
That team, because you're just going to ruin him. Because that's not like that team has a good offensive line. The team's offensive line is, in my favorite word, hot garbage dumpster fire.
Yep.
I mean, it's worse. It's almost as bad as the Giants' offensive line 2 years ago. I mean, but maybe not, but close. You're going to ruin a kid. We've seen too many offenses or teams go in and ruin a kid because of stuff like that. Kenny Pickett was a first-round pick. Don't do it to him. Am I worried about Pittsburgh overall? Yeah. On the Browns side, that defense saved my with I had 1.9 points before that last play, and I ended up with 10.4 after. But the last thing I want to say about Cleveland, it's proven to me that freaking Nick Chubb is just a freaking beast.
Yeah.
And he's underrated in fantasy because he doesn't catch the ball, but he's one of the better top 3 or 4 as a real NFL player.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Nick Chubb, Payne says if Nick Chubb autographed his jockstrap, I'd buy it. Oh my gosh. Oh Lord.
Fucking course he would.
Hey Justin, shut up.
Dirty ass mofo.
Yeah, we're gonna talk NFC East.
Don't worry, that'll be talked about later.
One of the things that I do want to
God.
mention before we get into David's take, from a fantasy football standpoint, on the Cleveland side of the ball, you are absolutely from here on out. Look, they are both just too efficient in that backfield. Last night was the first time we kind of really saw them kind of spread the ball, and it was only Njoku and Cooper. I think it was pretty funny. Someone made a whole ass post about Marcus and Adam selling because they were like, yo, at this point you gotta drop Cooper. Of course, this is before Thursday night's game.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of those guys, those are the most efficient pieces of that Browns offense. So no matter what, I don't feel like you have to worry about do I start both of them? Hey, I have both of them. Do I start them? Start them both every week. You're gonna be happier than not. David.
Yeah, for me, I don't think they should start Pickett yet. Now, like, I do agree to some degree with Mike that starting him right now would kind of be throwing him into the flames. Like, you don't want to David Carr his ass,
That's
like what the Texans did.
That's what I'm
and ruining him like instantaneously. But I mean, it wouldn't be quite as bad as that, but I think it would be a little risky at this point, just 3 games into the season, to where I still think Mitch Trubisky has enough time, enough of a leash to prove himself. Mike Tomlin has even kind of asserted that he's exercising patience with him to kind of see if he can prove himself. I think it'll come down to like the 6th game of the season. After the 6th game of the season, if you don't like what you see, like even if the Steelers are like 4-2, they go on a 3-game winning streak, but Trubisky still keeps putting out mediocre production, they might lean towards Kenny Pickett, and then I can trust him to come in and say, okay, maybe he might take the reins and do something with it. Trubisky, though, in the preseason, won it comfortably enough, the job that is, to where it should not have fallen on Kenny Pickett's shoulders right from the get-go within just a couple games into the season. but we are getting to a point where it's starting to get a little worrisome for the Steelers to where they're not moving the ball much offensively. And it comes down to the quarterback play. And it also especially comes down to the offensive line play, which is absolute hot, like drop, like Mike said, hot ass garbage. Okay. So, honestly, wait till game 6 and then go from there. Pickett did impress me enough to where I don't think, I think you give him a couple more games and maybe we could see some sort of spark ignited. But I still would just proceed, with patience, in Mitch Trubisky and let Kenny Pickett soak it in a little bit more, sitting behind Trubisky in that regard to kind of see how he would, pick it up from there on out when it comes to the after the 6th game of the season. Now, as for George Pickens, I don't know about, or was that later on? We asked about George Pickens earlier, right?
Yeah, I mentioned him. I mean, it's just the game as a whole. Like,
yeah. I mean, the game as a whole, like, I'm starting to get a little bit worried about, the Steelers offense. Like, I mean, it's not like, it's really just, if anyone that I trust out of the Steelers offense to get something going, Najee, but you trust him, but it has to be in conjunction with that offense line getting going. So really, it's just Deontay Johnson that I feel comfortable in from a consistency standpoint to kind of step up and carry the load, and maybe a Pat Freiermuth too, to some degree, because I like some of the chemistry that he's established with Trubisky even to get something going. But outside of that, this is not a fun offense, not a functional offense to watch. And so the Steelers really have to lean on their defense to get things going. And even that's to some degree worrisome. Yes, they have some legitimate pass rush, but they're without their star pass rusher right now. And TJ Watt, he's going to be out for quite some time. So really, there's just so much pressure on this Steelers team to get going to where, I mean, you just lost to Jacoby Brissett of all people last night. It wasn't like Deshaun came back, finally after, a couple weeks out and just lit y'all up. It's Jacoby fucking Brissett that beat y'all last night and somewhat comfortably, So
yeah.
I think honestly there's a lot of pressure on the Steelers. I had the prediction that the Steelers were going to fall to their first time below 500 since I think it was 2003 during the Bill Cowher days.
Yep.
That's very much a realistic possibility. And the Steelers, man, I mean, something's got to get going. It's not full-fledged panic mode right now, but we're getting into the weeks where it's going to be. So, I say honestly, just continue to evaluate Mitch Trubisky for the next couple weeks and then go from there.
Yeah, Steelers being 0-6 without Watt, definitely something to worry about. And the Steelers also having a Week 9 bye, so something to analyze from a fantasy standpoint. Maybe it's this time, where you begin trading Steelers away. Claypool hasn't been as effective. Pat Fry has had, a great week 1, and then last night, they didn't start targeting so late in the fourth quarter, which is weird against a defense who it was ranked 19th against tight ends prior to last night. So I agree with a lot that you said. I think it's getting close to the time that we hit the panic button. Taco, what do you got?
Well, I want to quote our favorite,
absolutely, Justin. Yes,
Dennis Green. They are who we thought they were. Like, coming into this season, let's face it, last season we saw the Steelers. It was a lot of volume for Najee. Najee wasn't making huge explosive plays like Saquon Barkley's rookie year.
Yeah.
He was doing it on the back of great volume and a lot of short dump off passes where he was able to accumulate a lot of points in PPR. Now, with this offensive line being so bad and not having that Ben Roethlisberger, where even Roethlisberger was being bad, he's still better than Mitch Trubisky. I don't know what you guys think, because
absolutely.
He's cerebral enough to understand the game. I'm not going to have enough time to get it to my guy down there. Najee, hit the flat. I'm going to throw it right to you.
Yeah.
And we'll 4 and 5 yard this thing all the way down there and get a field goal. That's not happening anymore. So right now, I love Mike Tomlin. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL. He's going to be a certified first ballot Hall of Famer. But for the first time in his career, he's probably going to have a losing season. In his first 15 years, he never had a losing season. It is hard to envision this Steelers team all of a sudden putting it together and becoming a winning team because, like they said, TJ Watt, no TJ Watt, 0-6. Why did they win that first game? They picked off the Bengals. How many times? They were in the backfield. They were creating pressure. They had good field position. Now that you don't have him, what's happened? You're losing to Jacoby Brissett. Really? Jacoby Brissett? I'm not saying he's horrible, but shit, the Colts have tried to find every quarterback in the world since him, and they still haven't found a guy as good as Jacoby Brissett was. So, I mean, that just kind of shows like, hey, Jacoby's not that great, but you know what? He gets the job done. For the Colts, he did it. And for the Browns, he did it. And I think this Browns team is actually going to be more impressive than we all thought they were. Because coming in, the Browns were a joke until Watson came in.
Jacoby's a good enough quarterback to where he can win enough games until
How about this?
that person comes back. I won't say his name on air, but until that person comes back. David, you have a question in the chat from a member.
So, I don't ever root against Mitch Trubisky, but I'm not going to lie. I am laughing my fucking ass off. And that's in part, honestly, because my brother is a Steelers fan, and he used to mock the hell out of me. Like, he used to always be like, it's Trubisky time, David, and just mock me every fucking week that we were rocking with Trubisky. And now he's basically getting our sloppy ass seconds with Trubisky. And dude, it's fucking hilarious.
You know what the worst part is,
that
though?
front,
Matt Nagy and Trubisky made playoffs.
Yeah.
And there's a possibility that we can look at Tomlin and Trubisky not. And I find that to be a little bit crazy, but I think it speaks more to what you guys are saying about this offensive line. It's just not good enough. And if you can't get enough time in the pocket, you can't do anything.
And I think, that does not help Trubisky one bit to have that shitty offensive line. You got to set him up with a better situation than that.
In the third quarter, I think there was a perfect play where he got the first down. He was going for the second first down, but the offensive line wasn't able to hold him, so he couldn't step into the throw, and he ducked a easy first down. And then from there, it was literally all downhill because the Browns took that momentum and ran. And guess what? Because you're not able to move the ball, you're in bad field position. You put your defense in a bad spot, and it's just a spiraling snowball of shit. With that being said, I'm worried about Najee. Like, if I could sell high to Najee, I would.
Yeah, football is a war game. I like what you mentioned there on Najee. I feel like you could still get a decent ROI in terms of trade talks for Najee Harris. I feel like this year is a year that you probably need to be doing a lot more wheeling and dealing than previous years that maybe you've watched this show. If you notice this year, I'm going to talk a lot more about trades than in the past, just because of how much volatility is in the market. We haven't seen as much volatility in the market in recent years, and a lot of that has been because we've had a lot of consistency in the fantasy football market. We've had a lot of the older QBs that we've always been able to trust and go in and get in drafts. We've had the more veteran receivers, so on and so forth. So now that the tide is changing, this is a completely new generation that is playing football. These are our kids, our kids' age. That are out there, running around, like, so on and so forth. So,
and I'll say how the running back position over the last 10 years has completely transformed from bell cows like Sean Alexander and LaDainian Tomlinson and Priest Williams. That doesn't exist anymore. Like, even Christian McCaffrey, who's the number one guy, Derrick Henry, the number one guy. You're looking at them and you're like, I don't know. It could be a time share. It could be they don't want him to get hurt. So it's a complete different game than what it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, I'm a little, I'm more so concerned with the offensive line than Najee Harris. Like, I think if he had a better offensive line, we'd see Najee flourish,
Agreed.
Right.
Right. And then to close out though with Trubisky, like, even though, you were talking about Ben Roethlisberger earlier, saying that, like, he had, we all know he had an absolute fucking string bean of an arm, in the twilight of his career. But even with that being said, and even though he couldn't throw the deep ball all that well, I still would actually trust his weak arm throwing the deep ball than Trubisky right now throwing the deep ball. That is how inept Trubisky continues to be with the deep ball. Like, he cannot throw it. And if he doesn't get it going, like, honestly, Steelers, man, y'all are in for a fucking rough one, because you've got to get some big plays going. That's what dominates the league. That's what gets an offense going and gets a team going in general, is when you generate those big plays. And they have zilch right now throughout the season.
Sorry about that.
I was about to bring that up, Lisa, as we get ready to wrap this segment. No, I do not feel that the George Pickens catch was better than Odell's catch.
Great catch, though.
Great fucking catch.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of fucking amazing shit. Like, I've seen a lot of amazing. I grew up during the Randy Moss, Jerry Rice era.
Bro, that ball from Odell was out of bounds, and he pulled that shit right back and scored a touchdown.
He almost did like a backflip in the fucking end zone. It was crazy,
Yeah, no, I'll still put Odell's catch above Pickens' catch. But Pickens did his thing on that route. Way to adjust his body. Beautiful hip movement. Way to track the ball with your eyes. You did every single thing right. And I've watched it a million times, and I've shared it a million times, but still not better than OBJ's. Another thing that I want to talk about on last night's game as we wrap up this segment, Okafor's bullshit last night, jumping on Walker. That completely uncalled for. We don't need that in this game. I hate to sound like a dad right now, but if like I was sitting there watching the game with my kids, like I would have like turned over and been like, son, don't you ever fucking do that when we get on the field this Saturday. You know, like straight up. That was some Ndamukong Suh type shit. It was straight up dirty. For Steelers fans trying to justify it, you're fucking stupid. Okay, a dirty hit's a dirty hit. And there was no reason for it. I don't know if he was joking around and playing. Like, you know, it looked like, you know, he didn't think that he was going to land on him that hard. Clearly, he landed on him harder than imagined. But for the fan base, just like I tell Browns fans. Just like I tell my own fan base as a Commanders that try and overlook fucking Dan Schneider's fuckery, okay? No, be accountable as someone, you know, part of that fan base. Dirty is dirty, wrong is wrong. You know, just like I tell Browns fans, yo, what Watson did is wrong. Like, straight up. Like he's your quarterback, but like, yo, it's wrong. You know, the same shit I'll tell Steelers fans. That hit last night, fucking wrong. Dan Schneider's actions, wrong. You know, at some point, you have to separate the player from the team and from your fandom.
Yeah.
So just be cognizant out there, fans. You know, I'm not trying to tell anyone how to be the perfect fucking NFL fan, but cheering for injuries or trying to justify shit like that, y'all are weirdos.
Fuck that shit.
Exactly. Getting into the next topic here. Hang on. 1 second. I gotta read it. Oh, all right. I got it. All right. So fantasy football pivot. Last week, heading into this week, it was a fucking Warrior splash. Last week to this week, throughout the week, there's been a lot of developments in regards to injuries in the NFL, which is obviously affecting people's fantasy football lineups in all formats. There's a chance that Josh Jacobs may have to travel on his own because apparently he's not feeling well.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming that he has what David and I have.
Probably, yeah.
I'm so serious because apparently it's going around, dude.
Yeah, it legit is, yeah.
Fucking Justin Herbert and the whole situation with Tyrod's former doctor and how, you know, the Chargers are going to handle that. And much more. What are your biggest fantasy football pivots? How are you pivoting around some of these injuries? Taco, lead us off.
So one of the biggest pivots I had to make already was I unfortunately was in that Trey Lance truther camp where I was like loving his value. I was like, ninth round, 8th round, I can get Trey Lance.
You're an asshole.
He went down and fucked me. So, you know, I was like, shit, now I got to pivot. And
I told you that was going to happen.
Yep. Well, my guy Tua is looking pretty sexy. So I'm liking that Tua pivot, and I'm liking that Jared Goff pivot at QB because, I mean, let's face it, Jared Goff, there's a lot of shit talked about that dude, but he did deliver a QB one season, and he's on an offensive line or on a team that has a solid enough offensive line that I think he could continue. And I'm on St. Brown, you know, the sun god. My man wants to be Cooper Kupp 2.0. So I'm just loving all the vibes right there.
Post the Lions bye week last year, did you know Amon Ra was wide receiver 2 for the rest of the year?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I had him in one league where I fell short. I only have him in one league this year.
Only behind Cooper Kupp.
I think he tied the record for most consecutive 8+ catch games. Like he had 8. It's crazy. Yeah. He's barely in his second fucking season. He's already set NFL historical records, you know?
And then just to speak onto another one, I'm personally, I know that the Dallas Cowboys are a team that I despise, but I'm loving that Michael Gallup pickup. He has been dropped by so many teams because of, you know, his injuries, but he should be back either this week or next week. If he comes back this week, it's probably going to be a limited snap count. Next week, he should be good. I'm just not a full believer in Brown as a wide receiver. I like the possibilities that Gallup offers. And if you're able to just get him for not even a waiver, just a quick stash because he's passed everything, I think that's a solid guy.
Albert, yes, you are going either way with that.
I'll bring it up in my.
This is divisional rivalry week. I honestly, brother, I think that you are fine either or. I think I like Wentz maybe a little bit more. I don't think that Darius Slay is gonna be on fire like that. Like if Slay gets a pick, it's probably gonna be one, if anything. I don't think that Darius Slay is gonna do that again. Like you're playing against primetime Kirk, and we already know what that is. But
Yeah.
yes, in the event that Herbert is out, if either of those guys are available, I'm assuming that a single QB, being that those guys are available, go ahead and go for it. Swing for
Yeah.
the fences.
And
Because that's a much
then
reliable option than you going with like a Jimmy G or a guy that I'm possibly going to be in a position in a two QB league. I'm Herbert my starter. I'm going to be rolling. I'm going to give my take right now, and I'm sorry to skip you, Mike, but I'm gonna be forced to fucking play Joe Flacco.
Oh, you didn't take my take. You didn't take my take. You took my
I said
pissed
to
off.
skip your. I said to skip your.
Oh, I know.
Skip your take. Yeah.
You're the one I should have played last week instead of Mariota when I lost by 0.4.
I'm playing Mariota over Flacco this week in my 14-team league.
I'm letting you know that the Jets offense is one of the top passing offenses in the league. They are
Kind of
not
is.
running the
Garrett
ball a
Wilson.
whole lot. You had 14 carries out of God damn it, Moore. And then not more.
Carter.
Hall.
Carter. I'm sorry, Carter. You got 14 carries out of Carter and 10 out of Breece Hall. They're not running the ball. They are a heavy pass offense. They don't give a fuck. The Jets don't give a fuck.
Speaking
So I have no
about that,
problem starting Flacco this week.
Tyler Conklin, sneaky play at tight end. He's been getting a shit ton of targets, and he's been Joe Flacco's second favorite receiver. That's a sneaky guy. And long story short, I like Zach Wilson as a little hold because he has that out. So that means he can go on your IR. You can hold him if you're looking at quarterback like you lost Lance, you lost some of these other guys. Zach Wilson might be a sneaky play this season with the way that Jets offense looks.
Okay. Mike, what's yours?
No, David's up.
Or David?
For me?
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, you guys brought up a lot of great points. I mean, I'm not the fantasy guru like you guys are, but if I had to share my sentiment though, Joe Flacco is third in the league right now through the first two games, and he's played well. We talk about Lions defense, it's probably an afterthought in comparison to their offense of what is a legitimate strength on that team, but they got some playmakers nonetheless. There, Aiden Hutchinson's made some nice plays. Amani Oruwariye is not too shabby of a corner. So put up 300 plus yards against him, threw for 3 touchdowns. Just lit up the Browns defense this past week. The Browns have not too shabby of a secondary. And this guy, it's like Mighty Joe Old over here is like resurrecting his fucking career before our eyes. And so, not a bad consolation prize for a guy like a Justin Herbert that is, that has been he's not struggling, but has been, succumbing to injuries as of lately. That from a passing standpoint as of recently, Carson Wentz has been a shocker, like we said earlier. I honestly felt okay with that decision for the Commanders to sign him. I thought honestly what it comes down to is how he plays down the final stretch of the season, especially with contenders like the Eagles that could be nipping at his heels, that could make shit difficult. So really it comes down to the clutchness of him late in the season to get the job done is what I'm concerned about with Carson Wentz, not so much the production he's able to yield for the Commanders. So yeah, why not have him as a consolation prize if you need, someone to kind of fill in the void for an injured quarterback. Rushing wise, I think honestly, Leonard Fournette is someone I think a lot of people, I'm not sure what his ADP is off the top of my head. I can't imagine it's probably too high in comparison to other guys like a Nick Chubb.
You could he's definitely rostered, but you could trade for him.
I think even with the offensive line woes that the Buccaneers are kind of experiencing right now and the offensive stagnation overall, this is someone who could still find a way to thrive. He is someone that is so physically gifted and so resilient to that kind of adversity that he'll still be a safer plug than other guys. Look at what he did, when he was in Jacksonville. They never really had a stellar offensive line, but he was always able to churn out production. It's no different in Tampa Bay, despite all of the adversity they've had to deal with guys succumbing to injury on the offensive line, guys retiring.
Suspension.
Yeah, it's left and right they've dealt with that kind of stuff, and Leonard Fournette continues to kind of find ways to be productive from a fantasy standpoint. When it comes to receivers though, I think honestly, anyone that comes to mind really, that someone's been sleeping on? Rashad Bateman I think this is his coming out party. I'm not sure what his ADP is off the top of my head, but man, if he finished top 5 or somewhere near that mark when it's all said and done, I wouldn't be that shocked because I think we're starting to see some chemistry develop between him and Lamar Jackson, especially with the deep ball, and that's going to be huge, for Lamar to get that aspect of his game going. Because while he can throw the deep ball, he's not one of the more special guys in that regard compared to the likes of like a Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, guys of that caliber, Tom Brady. So when that gets going, man, I mean, the sky's the limit for someone who, seriously proved that he could be a legitimate deep ball threat going back to his days in Minnesota in college. And right now, it's like the first 2 games, man. This may be a sign of promising things to come for him. So do not sleep on a guy like him that could be proven to be much more valuable than his ADP may indicate, honestly. So guys like that really come to mind off the top of my head. Again, I'm no fantasy guru, but I can't imagine that the guys I've listed have a high ADP right now compared to, some of the more elite, traditional, expected drafted guys. So those are some names in my eyes to keep an eye out for.
I got 2 quick things. One, I love the Lenny play, especially going forward, because think about it. When he got to Tampa, he's been catching so many more passes than he did with Jacksonville. And in most people playing PPR, I think Lenny's going to be a sneaky guy for this point in the season going on forward. I do think the Bucs end up figuring it out, and once they get some weapons back, it'll open up for him. Yeah. And 2, would you guys play Cole Beasley? Considering the injuries in the Bucs and you're desperate?
No.
That is interesting.
He might not suit up yet.
Exactly. Yeah, no.
And if it all depends on his availability, obviously, but they're plagued with injuries right now and absence in general. Mike Evans being suspended. Julio Jones wasn't practicing frequently this
Godwin's
week.
not there.
Godwin, wasn't practicing either. I mean, it's really like it depends on the availability, but like Brady's got to find someone to lean on, and he doesn't have a Gronk to do so. So Cole Beasley might be that next option. For they're also in dire need to get that passing attack going right now because, like I said, it's been stagnant this far. Like there's no other word for it that's apropos to describe that passing attack. It has legitimately been stagnant. And Cole Beasley, sometimes, again, pending his availability, sometimes he can be kind of a sneaky good play here and there. With all those things considered, that is so. It really depends on his availability, but Brady can also
not playing bees in the trap.
I'm
not.
I'm not either, but people are going to be desperate enough this weekend, and for
they might be.
I think.
Mike, who's your player? Who's your player?
All right, so I'm going a little deeper on this one. At quarterback, I was going to bring up Albert's exact question. I think that's a coin flip to me. I think both of them are in high-scoring games. They're both going to be in shootouts. Give me either one, and I'd be happy with Wentz or Goff. If I had to choose between the two this week, it'd probably be Goff, but Wentz is not very far behind. The wide receiver that I want, and it's a true pivot because we kind of had a feeling, but the announcement was official today. Hunter Renfrow is out. Mac Hollins is a play that if you're having to pivot, Mac Hollins ended up having more targets than Devontae Adams last week. Mac Hollins had 8 targets. I know he only had 1 target in week 1, but he had 8 targets in week 2. He had 6 or 7 receptions. Mac Hollins is going to be a guy. Carr is going to be looking to throw the ball. That team does not want to become 2-0 or 3-0. Against the
Zaire White also like if you're
Zamir White's one, but the other one at wide receiver in the same game, I think Treylon Brooks is going to have a decent game.
They've been force feeding him the ball.
I think they're going to force feed him again. I think he's going to have a decent game, and I think I think the Raiders pull it off, but I think that Holland's going to have a decent game. And I want to mention something real quick. Taco, congratulations because you said something smart. Conklin is a sneaky play at tight end.
Yeah, very much so. I love that for DFS especially. I think I mentioned a lot of different guys. If Curtis Samuel's on your bench and you're out Mike Evans this week, or we don't even know, is Keenan Allen supposed to be back for the Chargers?
That is questionable.
That's what it sounds like he's questionable still.
That's what I wanted to bring up real quick. We're talking about the Herbert. What do you call it? Did you see the text that I sent you?
We're taking Jacksonville this week.
Because
Jacksonville's
that spread in 2.5 hours was a 3.5 point swing in 2.5 hours. And when it was made, was 10 minutes. The swing was made 15 minutes after the Chargers walked off the practice field. What does that tell me? That tells me that Daniel played all the number one snaps, and they don't think he's playing.
Yep. I wouldn't. By the way, I would not play Chase Daniels this week. Fuck that.
Oh, I'm not either. But I'm just saying that's when the over/under goes down 4 points and the spread goes down 3.5, like that, something's up. The sharps know what they're freaking doing.
Exactly. No, 100%.
I will say one thing though. I love Godwin as a buy low trade candidate. Like if you're looking to trade for someone and you get a frustrated manager, because when you look at the way that offense is, it's really set up for Chris Godwin to come back and be the wide receiver. He's gonna dominate because even when versus Dallas, they were moving the ball best when Chris Godwin was on the field.
Yeah,
he is gonna be a fantasy playoff stud.
I always thought that Brady's best connection was with Godwin, even more so than in Evans. So you look at the completion percentage that and their connection, it's much more significant than it is with Evans.
He's the number one. He is the number one.
Yep. Yes. Oh, he'll be back. He'll be back next week. I think Godwin will be back by next week. And you'll have you'll have the band back together next week.
In 2 leagues as my playoff, like he was my fourth wide receiver in some leagues, and I drafted him knowing it might take a couple of weeks, but when he's back, he's a number one wide receiver. He's a top 12, top 15 player easily.
Yeah,
yep.
I love it.
Herbert's ribs is Kamara, and for Tyrod. It's Kamara for Tyrod's mom.
That's cold right there. Jesus.
That's CRB.
Tyrod's life was, I think, even threatened with that injury. Like that was scary shit. Jesus.
He got a lawsuit against the doctor from the Chargers. Like
Don't
$5
worry.
million he was looking for.
Our next question our next question is gonna irk Seard so bad, so it's okay.
Oh yeah. Question: any targets in mind if I were to package Hunt and Judy? Oh man, where's your head at? Because I mean, you might be able to do some shit there. Like to be honest, there may be a case where you don't have to move. Well, I mean, I would try to move.
I would try to move Judy and not Hunt.
Yeah, I would try to move Judy, not Hunt.
I don't know. I'd move Hunt. I just don't think that there's enough volume there when you
really.
You're crazy.
There was last year.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
Judy's going to have more upside once he's back and healthy.
There's no evidence to support your statement, though.
Taco.
What do you mean? Look at what Hunt's done this season. He hasn't been absolutely.
We are 2 weeks into a fucking season, Taco.
I'm just not buying Hunt. Honestly, I stayed away from Hunt in every league. It's too much of a time. I'd rather have Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard is going to be in a position where he can end up with the.
I also have Nick Chubb,
I don't blame you for
Hunt.
that.
If you don't want Hunt, then you need to be going after a good stable RB too. Like you need to see if you can pull Miles Sanders or someone. Like you need if you're because one thing I'll say, I'm in the same boat as you. I have a team with both of them.
So do I. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like Judy, but I always worry about his wide receiver one stock potentially in Denver.
Oh,
because
that's Sutton.
It's Sutton. Yeah, I think it's Sutton. Honestly, Russell loves them big bodied receivers, and he's going to be targeting that big boy out there. That's his guy.
Taco.
I have Chubb and Zeke. Zeke is probably who you need to be moving.
Taco. Kareem Hunt is already halfway to his rushing, halfway rush attempts, a third of the way on yards.
But didn't Kareem Hunt miss 5 games last year?
Kareem Hunt's outscoring Zeke right now in fantasy. But
Zeke is trash. Nobody should have been drafting Zeke at all. He is trash. I got Tony Pollard everywhere because there was no freaking Zeke. He has no burst anymore. That is Tony Pollard's job.
You're a Giants fan.
Tony
Pollard, but we're talking fantasy football.
Zeke is that ex you can't fucking quit, man. Zeke is like that ex you can't fucking quit.
And the ass ain't even good. And the ass ain't even good.
Yeah. Zeke out of I would give her to Zeke if I ever give her to Hunt.
Oh yeah, Zeke. I'd cut him. Just cut him.
Fuck this.
I'm
joking there. I'm joking.
I'm getting close to quitting, but I'm still like I'm holding on for dear life to Zeke to get something going, but he has disappointed me to the utmost fucking degree.
And Tony Pollard looks explosive.
Yeah.
How
Tony
long
Pollard's
on
fast,
that offense can you hold Tony Pollard back?
Yeah,
He's
honestly,
the better back.
No, they're gonna move on eventually.
Zeke's
fantasy
his
playoff
days
time,
are
that's when.
numbered. I think
Getting into our next topic here. The San Francisco 49ers are in complete turmoil at the given moment. But I don't think that it's necessarily turmoil because Jimmy G taking over, porn star Jimmy, taking over at quarterback. The band's back together. Kittle will be back healthy. It's Debo. It's Ayuk. Any fucking running back there that they choose to play. Are the 49ers better off right now than given if they had Trey Lance at the helm? Taco, I think you start off the last one, so it's Mike.
Yeah, I want this one.
Oh,
I want this one.
Let's
So
go.
there is no turmoil right now because Jimmy G is the better quarterback for this team at this moment.
I think
Trey
so, too.
Lance, yes, do I think Trey Lance didn't get the complete chance? No, but that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, did he get a fair shake? Not yet. But does the non-fair shake give Garoppolo or give the Niners a better chance? Yes. And honestly, it helps Garoppolo because the bonuses that motherfucker is getting for winning
Are
games
through the roof.
and taking snaps are through the roof. Now, here's where the turmoil is going to start, and that's really all I need to say about the team. Besides that, I think they're a playoff team with Jimmy G. They're not a Super Bowl team, but they're a playoff team. But this is where I really want to get into. There will be turmoil. February 2023, when Jimmy G puts on a performance enough this season to put Lance's future in San Francisco in question. Because he's going to go and try to get the money. And if the Niners sit there and say, we don't want you to go, we'll pay you what you want, we'll trade Lance. There's a possibility that could happen if he gets him to the playoffs and even late run into the playoffs in a weak NFC.
Yeah,
We could have Jimmy G soap opera in San Francisco, what is the most apropos freaking city for this to happen for Jimmy porn star G.
Really quick, the Bats question. Yes, see if you can move Zeke and Judy for Henry. I think that Henry will bounce back and he's going to get his. But while people are gonna sell him low to you, yeah, do that.
yeah.
You're shooting your text when you're done with this dumbass topic.
He's so mad at me right now. He's so mad at me right now. He's such a Lance home. He loves Lance, and I love it.
God.
What you got, David?
Yeah, sorry, Seard, but I'm echoing his sentiment 1,000%. I think Jimmy GQ, man, I like to call him like Jimmy G competent, like that's what we kind of gotten from him over the last few years, He's been competent enough. Like, I never thought he played so bad last year he warranted losing his job, Trey Lance last year did not impress me enough to circumvent him in the depth chart. And even this year, we kind of didn't really see anything that impressive. He was playing against a somewhat rookie secondary cast against the Bears in week 1 and didn't look all that special, I expected more from him. He sat the bench last year predominantly, learning under Jimmy G. And I know he doesn't sound like the greatest of mentors. And,
But he's been around.
Yeah, he's been around. He's experienced. And even though, probably to put it kindly, like his work ethic in the offseason was what I would probably consider lethargic as fuck to, at best case scenario to describe it. He kind of did enough to where he could keep his job, safe and sound, and honestly, with Jimmy G,
that's not saying a whole hell of a lot.
Oh no, come on. No, I disagree with that. Mac Jones still holds his ground as the best thus far. I'm still hoping my guy Justin Fields can come out of nowhere because it seems like that's what it's going to fucking take, honestly,
Davis
for him
Mills.
to get this job done. No, not even. No, get out of here with the Davis Mills. It's his time is he had some flashes rookie season, but like I think it's throughout the first 2 games of the season, it's a wrap.
You'll believe. It's okay.
Only time will tell, buddy. Only time will tell. No, Jimmy G, though, I think, honestly, it'd be kind of funny to see, like, a crazy scenario. Like, I remember, years ago when Steve Young and Joe Montana had their QB battle, and then Steve Young came down with an injury, and Joe Montana came in relief for a couple games and balled the fuck out. But then Steve Young came back in time to say, okay, he didn't completely steal my job again, So it'd be kind of funny to see something like that play out for Jimmy G. I think we'll probably get the same as what we saw last year, where he's competent enough to hold it down and win a few games, but maybe even I think there's still legitimate. There could be a legitimate QB battle, but like the future is still I think ultimately in Trey Lance's hands. They're going to probably ship out Jimmy G after the season if he shows he's competent enough to hold it down as a potential starter for another team. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of dumping the ball off, checking the ball down, moving the chains, making the safe decisions, because he was never really a crazy turnover prone quarterback. But at the same time, he can't air the ball out, like a Trey Lance has the potential to do. He doesn't have that cannon of an arm like a Trey Lance, has the capability to showcase. He doesn't have that mobility like Trey Lance has. So he's kind of just a safe bet to hold down the job. Win a few games, and depending on how long Trey Lance is out, if he has any setbacks with his injury, they'll be fine with Jimmy G. Kind of like what they were last year, where they went 10-7, and had that sneaky good run in the playoffs. It's still going to the offense is still going to ultimately come down to how Deebo Samuel plays well, and it's going to come down to how that defense complements a Deebo Samuel. So Jimmy G is going to be fine for now. But Trey Lance, it's still the future, I think, is ultimately still in his hands. It's just on temporary hiatus for now.
Yep. Taco. And we are very aware. Oh, we know.
So I'll say this. I came into the season expecting big things out of Trey Lance because I believe so much in Shanahan and what he can do that I was buying ahead of time because I thought he would figure it out. Shanahan is that much of a good coach that I will put that faith in. If he traded up all those picks to get this guy and he's giving him the job after Jimmy G almost got him to the Super Bowl, he's going to give him that job. I was buying.
This is the same coach that ran RG3 into the dirt.
While you are right, his time in San Francisco has been magical. What he's done there with even the backups when Jimmy G's been down, what he does with Deebo, what he does with the running game. Yeah, I'm a believer. He's a great coach, and those kind of coaches, I believe in them. And guess what? Trey Lance didn't deliver, but the 49ers were smart enough to not trade Jimmy and to not just cut Jimmy. They said, hey, you know what? Yeah. We know that the way Lance plays, he could get hurt. We also know that he's only in his second year, and if he can't deliver, this is a Super Bowl capable team. Like when you look at that offense, what they do with Deebo Samuel is elite. It's hard for anyone in the NFL to stop that one guy. Now you add Ayuk. Now you add Kittle. Kittle hasn't played one game yet. You add Kittle. That's a huge piece of that offense. Elijah Mitchell got hurt in the first game. Now you're running Jeff Wilson. But guess what? He figures it out. So I'm a very much believer in Shanahan. Shanahan invested in Lance. I think eventually Lance is going to get that job, but I agree with what you guys said. If Jimmy G takes them back to where they were last year, it is very hard to tell me that you're not going to re-sign Jimmy. And here's the thing. Didn't they say that they're not going to franchise tag him? So it's not the same situation that a lot of other quarterbacks in where you'd be like, oh, just franchise tag him. And you know what? For next year, let him play out one more year.
You're going to pay him now. Now you're going to pay him. You're going to pay him even more because the tax next year is even fucking bigger.
Yep.
That's the problem in Baltimore. It's like, yo, you should have fucking got Lamar's deal done now.
Yep.
Because next year it goes up like 28%.
But think about it. If you're a Super Bowl team or a potential Super Bowl team with the elite defense, with a guy like Deebo, with your other weapons, can you really say, let's move on to this experiment of Trey Lance when we have a Jimmy G who, yes, he's not a world beater. Yes, he's not the best, but you know what? He gets shit done. He moves the chains. He's smart enough to understand, hey, let me check into a run.
He's mediocre enough to win, and that's the thing.
Exactly.
And that's all that you need.
Coach like Shanahan, I think that works. Because Shanahan schematically can see what's going on, and he can say, hey, Jimmy, you're going to be looking for this on this side, look for that on this side. If you don't have it, go here, and Jimmy can go out there and execute it. And I think that's a match made in heaven.
Oh, yeah. Well, we are going to get into a music video within a commercial by Monkey Knife Fight. On the other side, we have our best bets at NFC East Showdown. and much, much, much more. Here is Roy Dell with Solid Gold Tank.
Suck my dick and pay me. She don't call back like, damn. And my brother's always busy. That's why shorty fucking with me. She the only one that give me. Yeah. And I rode this here for 2. I just hop up in the whip. I hit up 6. She smoke it with me. Little bitch.
Let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, there was a monkey knife fight.
And one day, they met one team partners in the NFLPA.
It's a match made in the pits of a monkey knife fight.
And everyone lived happily ever after.
Are you listening? This is big.
What is a monkey knife fight?
You know, it's thing monkeys, knives, you get it. Fantasy sports is monkey knife fight. And monkey knife fight is fantasy sports.
Monkey Knife Fight is daily fantasy.
Monkey Knife Fight in the house.
I am Monkey Knife Fight.
You are Monkey Knife Fight.
We are all Monkey Knife Fight.
Monkey Knife Fight.
You have the NFLPA behind the company.
It's exciting for me to be a part of fantasy sports.
When I think of fantasy sports, I think of beating all my buddies year in and year out and being able to brag about it.
We're not just partners in it.
We're owners.
And it feels awesome to be an owner.
I challenge you to a monkey knife fight.
We've been saving you a seat at the table, Monkey Knife Fight.
Welcome to the One Team and NFLPA family.
Monkey Knife Fight. Welcome to the family, Monkey Knife Fight.
Welcome to the game, Monkey Knife Fight.
Monkey Knife Fight!
I challenge you to a Monkey Knife Fight.
Monkey Knife Fight!
Monkey Knife Fight, Monkey Knife Fight, Monkey Knife Fight, Monkey Knife.
Second, I gotta finish making my drink.
Monkey Knife Fight, 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 Monkey Knife Fight.
Shut the fuck up.
No.
You fucking asshole.
So,
Oh,
so
God.
Mike, when is
Thank
Sky
you. I
Moore going to be a
resemble
thing?
that comment. Huh?
Mike, when is Sky Moore going to be a thing? Because I know everybody's looking at that waiver wire. Like, when should I grab him?
Not this year.
You don't think by playoff time he'll be like Elijah Moore last year?
I still think they're just going to spread the ball out too much. Elijah Moore did it. The problem that I have with the problem that I have with that comparison
Volume
is the Jets didn't have shit.
right?
The options in KC comparatively.
But
And
I mean, Juju.
The one thing that drives me nuts. Well, Juju's fine, but the one thing that drives me nuts, and Robbie knows this because I've been saying it all frickin' summer. The time I finally give up on the mofo, they decide to make Hardman a wide receiver and not just a gadget player.
Man, I don't know how much I believe in. Like between Juju, Hardman, MVS, like they're all nice, but they're nice. Like you know what I mean? Like it's
I wanna fucking talk about this really quick. Dude wearing a Slipknot shirt. That's tight. I've seen them live. Nice. I think Taco you have as well. Spread swinging in the Jags' favor says 80. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. I want to talk about this really fast before we get into like the real segment. How can you fucking go from Dr. Dre, M50, Mary J, to fucking Taylor Swift?
Hold on. Taylor Swift is saying it's not true.
She really? She's not performing?
Contract yet.
She came out and said she turned down the initial offer.
Thank God.
Oh fuck!
I don't know, man. I could just see it now.
But
Love
I
story
could
coming
see it,
out.
but I could see it happening where she's turning down the offer to get a little more.
Well, they don't pay you for that. That's the thing. They don't pay you for that.
It's not Pepsi anymore. It's Amazon Music took it
Oh
over.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, the Super Bowl always goes for a huge draw. So, like, whoever's popular, they're going to go for. I know it sounds random to go from Dr. Dre and 50 Cent and all these guys, Snoop Dogg. But, like, you know, they've had, like, random guys. And you know, they previously had, like, the Rolling Stones. They've had, you know, the Black Eyed Peas.
Shakira
Those were all good.
Yeah.
Those were all good.
Shakira and J-Lo.
I mean, no, the actual classic rock bands have traditionally been great, and I loved last year's performance. I loved too, which was kind of unorthodox because some of the you know, like the rap artists and the pop, you know, singers that have come out haven't really, like, I didn't like the Black Eyed Peas. I thought they had a horrible performance.
The only reason that performance was able to happen was because it was in LA. That's the only reason that thing.
Hey, listen, now we got Bad Blood. It used to be Mad Love.
Hey, I would love to see
Dude,
Kendrick make an
weird.
appearance there, you know, in that remix. He's in the remix of that song, isn't he? I want to say.
You know who I want?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Kendrick.
do we
Yeah.
know?
Get him a
Hey, listen, shake it off. Shake it off.
It's in Arizona, okay? The game's is in Arizona.
Oh God.
Yo,
But
you are.
I think-
Hold on. Wait. Stop. Before you go any further, you are too fucking New York. You are too fucking Puerto Rican. You know that much goddamn Taylor Swift.
Listen.
Don't you fucking get bacon, egg, and cheeses and shit?
No, I get chopped cheeses on a roll out here, kid. But at the same time, I took an extra Taylor Swift, and then, you know, next thing you know, it became a guilty pleasure. You know what I mean?
Who have we put to shame this far on the show? We've put Eminem to shame, Taylor Swift to shame. We're racking up the whole fucking list of singers.
But remember this.
And we have
The
Geriatric
women will love
Jones on screen.
The women will love it. They will watch it.
Yeah, they, you know.
Okay, here's my thing.
Yeah.
It's in Arizona.
Then why not? Then why not? Well, they already
They
did.
should
Yeah.
try to find people LA proved it. You could have a show with hometown people. They should find talent
Who the
that are
fuck came from Arizona?
Alice Cooper, mofo.
Yeah.
Alice Cooper ain't no Taylor Swift. I'd rather shake it off than Alice Cooper.
I would rather not.
I like both. I mean, I like Alice Cooper a little more than
You're having a
it's
Joe
big class
Budden moment
rock.
right now.
Yeah.
Listen,
Are you going to start singing Munch?
Listen,
He would rather watch the halftime
Oh
show
my
than the
God.
game.
Yo, that was a little too sweet for a hot minute there, bro.
listen.
You know what?
You
Fuck it. If
belong with me.
if we can't get Taylor Swift to sign the deal, we'll just get fucking Taco out there to perform in lieu.
Listen,
No,
I can
let's just-
karaoke that shit.
Yeah, let's get him to do. Some
Anyways,
covers for that
back
shit,
to
you know?
fucking actual football
Football.
stuff.
Oh god.
Um,
Thank God, Robbie.
I got
Yeah.
on the clip.
God damn it! If I had to hear Taco sing another fucking Taylor Swift song,
Ruin it.
Is this my topic?
that's really quick.
Oh, God.
Someone needs to go back and record that. That's a TikTok. Like Taco singing is a fucking TikTok, and me roasting him for it. Oh god.
And me rapping wasn't?
And it's gonna go viral for
We
all
have
the wrong
thousands
fucking
of those
reasons. You know?
I know.
Listen, I'm
we
a
do
showman. I could do that.
So
we do have
NFC.
1,000.
So around the
Okay.
NFL, it is rivalry week, but the NFC East in particular, the only division where every team in it has a Lombardi. It's not our fault that your divisions suck. The Giants
We
are
only have
2-0.
one that don't.
The Giants are 2-0.
Yeah.
The Cowboys
1-1.
1-1. They were able to pull it out last week against Cincinnati. I still don't think Cooper rushes him, but we'll get into that during the segment. Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles are everything that we thought that they were going to be.
Yep.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
And Washington is more high-powered and more high-octane than anyone predicted, including my motherfucking self.
Yeah.
What are our thoughts on this division? Taco, will let you start because you're a Giants fan. I'm going to let you have your 2-0 bullshit glory.
Listen, I messaged Robbie last week just to say I got to come on here before Cowboys Giants, because for the first time in a long time, we're not terrible.
No.
I'm not saying that we're going to be a playoff team. I'm not saying that we're going to be great, but we haven't had Kayvon Thibodeau. We haven't Azeez Ojulari. They haven't come back yet. Danny, I mean, let's face it. Danny is not. He's not
the quarterback that played at Duke. We
he's
know
not
this.
Jimmy G. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would much rather have Jimmy G than fucking Danny Dimes on this team. But at the end of the day, them Eagles look fucking scary, bro. I was watching that game and I'm just like, between Hurts and that defense, they're going to be a problem. They're the number one team in the NFC East. They're probably going to run away with it. The Commanders, they look a lot better than we all thought they would. So did the Giants. It's still super early, so it's kind of hard to really see what's going to happen. But I think if the Giants can keep playing like this, I think they could be a wild card team, though.
I love this question about Kadarius Toney, and I just don't think that it happens just because of who his quarterback is.
But not only that, I don't think the staff believes in him. I don't think Dable loves him like that. I think that what you're going to see is Sterling Shepard is going to be the primary target man for the rest of the season. He's only 20% rostered in Yahoo leagues, solid stash in deeper leagues. And I would say a guy like Wan'Dale Robinson, once he comes back, is going to be an interesting player that they might put in there because he was drafted by this regime. He had great reviews in camp, and he's someone that they can use in almost like how a gadget player like how Hardman is. But I think they'll be more focused in getting him the ball because the Giants don't have a plethora of playmakers. It's Saquon Barkley, it's Shepard, and that's pretty much it. So I think that, Giants are going to be sneaky. They could probably make the wild card. Cowboys are trash. Tony Pollard's going to take over the job from Zeke. I think that Brian Robinson with the Commanders is going to be an interesting stash if you can get him. But this NFC East is going to be fun.
Netflix is going to fucking make movies off of Brian Robinson.
Bro, for real.
Like with that story, like how do you not take that fucking Hollywood? And especially if he comes back and like he's super successful, outworks Antonio Gibson. I have Brian Robinson stashed in a couple of leagues. I'm recommending to all of you out there.
Yep.
Go get some.
He
and he's trending for week 5.
And, you know, he's not like, remember, he was the backup to Najee Harris at Alabama. And this is someone that is not a far cry of an athlete in comparison to Najee. They're not far off. Okay. You're high on Najee's athleticism. You should be not like Brian Robinson's not too far behind him. Okay. He's a legit versatile player that can do everything on whether it's run, receive, block, everything. He is a very well-rounded, talented back that if you give him the right situation, this dude could not only just, be competent, he could flourish,
Yeah.
So I'm eager to see that. But, as for this division, I still am very confident in the Eagles, and they've certainly proved me right thus far with the way they've came out and absolutely balled out with Jalen Hurts. Darius Slay, who put on an absolute fucking show last week. I mean, he was defensive player of the week around the league. I've never seen a cornerback. I haven't seen a quarterback take over a game to that level in a long fucking time, man. That dude was sensational. I think honestly, I'm sorry to do this to you, Taco. Your Giants, I think, will be competent this year. This is a division, by the way. Let me preface this. This is a division that is not going to be the NFC least this year. It is going to be a very, very competitive division. But with that being said, someone's going to have to be at the bottom, and I think it may come down to QB play. As cliche as it is to say, Daniel Jones is not going to be Danny Dimes. I think honestly, it's going to be best case scenario. Danny didn't shit the bed. Like that's the best case scenario you're going to get out of it. Right. Honestly, it's just Danny didn't shit the bed.
Tyrod Taylor.
Exactly. Like maybe he's a more. Honestly, it's like I think that the way this offense is, for them to make the playoffs, it's going to have to be like Saquon's going to have to put up like historical numbers. I think honestly. And he's a freak of nature from an athletic perspective. It's entirely possible that happens. But I just don't see it with the other competition you have to face in the league with how Carson Wentz has been balling out as of lately.
I agree.
I just think, honestly, it's an uphill battle for the Giants. I like what they've got going for the future. They're going to be very promising sooner rather than later. I just think that this year that they're going to slightly miss the mark, and it's going to be because of that QB play. I don't trust, Daniel Jones in comparison to a Carson Wentz, even to a Jalen Hurts, who's a dark horse MVP candidate, to Dak Prescott, who, yes, he's injured right now, but he's going to be coming back eventually. And when he comes back, it's going to be, a different team than even Cooper Rush.
Give me Cooper Rush over Jones.
Honestly, you got me thinking for a second.
I'm a Giants fan.
Honestly, the way he played last week, like he wasn't too shabby. He honestly wasn't too shabby.
We definitely make the playoffs with him.
Yeah,
no.
That'd be an interesting experiment.
Dallas ain't even making the playoffs. I'll say that for my take.
But
okay, so I'm not even going to talk. I'm not even going to utter the team in New York's nickname because I'm saving that for a few minutes when I let Taco have it. But for this one, I think this division, just like David said, is not the least. But I have come to thinking that the top two teams in this division by the end of the year are going to be Philadelphia and Washington.
Yeah.
And Philly's going to win it, but there's just something like you guys already brought up the good points about Brian Robinson and all that. That trio, Curtis Samuel going to his old coach, being hurt last year was one thing. Now you have Wentz who can sling the ball. Mm-hmm. We liked Tyler Heineke last year as a story, but we all knew that he wasn't the future. Did I think it was going to be freaking Carson Wentz? Absolutely freaking not. But
did we think that Carson Wentz was going to be decent at football? God, no.
Like I didn't think
Carson Wentz kind of reminds me of Blake Bortles with a better team attached to him.
Let me explain. What are you doing? Right. What?
Let me explain.
You brought up Blake fucking Bortles on this show? What do you go ahead? Oh,
he is a top 5 quarterback with a shitty team, didn't prove himself, but for fantasy purposes, he goes out there in the second half and gives you what you need and keeps the team in the games. I just have a feeling that
there's a million other quarterbacks that you could have said that do that.
He's more athletic than Blake Bortles is from an arm standpoint, from an accuracy standpoint too,
from a football IQ standpoint.
Yeah. No, I still give it to over
Bortles isn't smart. I've watched Carson Wentz break down fucking film.
But it's not like a crazy. I mean, Carson Wentz still he shits the bed at times too. I will say that. You know?
And
Yeah, but who doesn't?
Yeah.
And when it goes to the Eagles, the surprise to me, fantasy purpose wise, is Miles frickin' don't draft me Sanders.
Yeah, he's been a surprise. That's for sure.
And I might be playing him in DK because he's only 5,500. Robbie, your take.
So with the Miles Sanders thing, he has been absolute magic.
Yeah.
This team with the running game has finally turned it around. No, it does not feature Gainwell. It's not going to.
Damn it. Damn it.
It's not going to. That's Miles Sanders and Boston Scott's running back room. They're the two that are getting all the touches. They're the ones being efficient. Whenever they have the ball. AJ Brown is a fucking beast, and I knew it from the day that I met him and I interviewed him.
Fitting like a glove in that offense.
Absolutely, it's so perfect. It's so perfect. But the University of Alabama producing some really good QBs for the NFL right now. I mean, Tua, Jones, and fucking Hurts, and all three of those guys all like played together.
We're getting Bryce Young soon too.
Yeah. And so I'm really liking what's happening there. That aside, fuck Dallas, fuck the Giants, fuck the Eagles. I do think the Commanders place second in the division. I think the Commanders find a way to become wild cards.
Yeah.
I think that Carson Wentz wants his lick back for what happened in Indy. So if he's in a situation like that again, I don't think he's going to let that happen again. He's going to go out there and he's going to get it back in blood at that. New York is just, they're not you're squeaking out wins. Like you're not full on commanding winning games. And to me, that doesn't make you a valid 2-0 team. I think that Dallas, the Cooper Rush thing is eventually going to rear its ugly head. Mm-hmm. And that'll happen. I saw a rumor that maybe it was a meme or whatever, but like Jerry Jones kind of comparing the situation to when Dak took Romo's job.
Yeah, he said it. His exact words were, if Cooper Rush goes 8-0 without Dak, we might have to reevaluate.
And I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's a fucking pipe dream right there. I think.
Yeah, Cooper Rush has never been good at football. Like even preseason football, he wasn't good. So let's not try and hype up Cooper Rush in the Dallas Cowboys. But yeah, that's the way I think that division falls out. I've said it before. I'll continue to say it. I think that's the take that I'm sticking to until there's evidence that can kind of debunk that.
Oh, no, I was just going to say Washington, I like your choice for them as a sneaky good wild card team. And Carson Wentz already on pace for 60 touchdowns this year, man. 60 touchdowns on the horizon,
I'm just going to say that Cooper Rush problem is going to rear its head this week because that Giants pass rush is going to be insane.
Yeah. They're getting Ojulari back, right?
And Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think you guys beat Dallas.
Luck,
I think you guys beat Dallas this week, but it's going to be very much like a win of previous, like maybe about 3 or 1.
Yeah.
But I do think that
this
you guys
team is
beat
better
Dallas.
when Tyrod Taylor. If Tyrod Taylor ends up playing, this team will be better than it is now. The problem with Daniel Jones is he misses. He's not consistent enough to hit that open pass when he needs to. He can't hit that play.
And he's a deer in headlights too, man. He folds under pressure.
Although he has some moments where he's like he uses that like the final play that we had versus the Titans, where it was like the option he could throw, he could run it, or he could give it off. That was a great play.
Yeah, he's an athletic guy. Don't get me wrong. It's just
it's just execute. Because if he can unlock it, he has the arm strength, he has the speed, he can do it. But he's too muddled in here. He can't handle the pressure because, like you said, he's a deer in headlights. He gets stagnant. He gets shot. He gets scared, and that's why he makes so many turnovers. But he seems to be kind of like it really depends. He might develop. It's like a 5% shot, but. Would you bank on that? No, but if it happens, I'll be happy.
Right.
Well, while we're on this topic, best and worst 2-0 teams. There are 6 remaining. Mike, go ahead and read them all.
Okay, so no particular order: Dolphins, Bills, Chiefs, and then in the NFC we have Eagles, Giants, and the Buccaneers.
Taco, you start.
The Buccaneers, because
Wait, no, I
goddamn
think
that
Mike
offense.
starts.
No, I start.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
So the best team, I'm not even going to have to say it, is the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I was expecting you to plead bias on this one.
Nope. I don't even think I picked at the beginning of the year that we're not even winning the division.
That's right. You did say that. Yeah. You were behind the Chargers, I want to say, right?
But yeah, Buffalo is the best team. Their front four is brutal.
Yeah.
Matt Milano is showing that you can teach old dogs new tricks. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's going to hurt a little bit with their secondary is banged up. White's still out. Jackson's out with that horrific injury that hopefully he's okay. Mm-hmm. But I think Hyde or Poyer's out, and the other one is questionable. Mm-hmm. So I just can't remember which way it goes. But they're playing Dolphins. It's going to be tough. Well, that's different. I'll get into that Sunday morning. However, the worst team. You guys are such a sham, Taco. It's not even freaking funny. It's not even close.
Bro, Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey. That's two of the best running backs in the league. We shut them down.
Those are one. That's the other two players.
Robbie. Taco hasn't been on for a while. Who's been saying the Titans suck this year?
Oh, we all been saying it.
I've been saying that they're not good.
Yeah, we've been knowing that.
Okay, Taco, I will give you credit on certain things. Barkley is back, and I said that from the start. I thought Barkley was back. Yep. You are right. I am glad you're saying that Danny Dimes isn't good.
The offensive line is much better. Improved.
It is much improved.
And I do think that Saquon Barkley, in a fantasy perspective, could end up as a top 5 player, possibly top 1 player this year. He's on top 1 trajectory. And if he does that, the Giants make the playoffs.
But what's going to hurt? No. Because what's going to hurt you overall is the lack of talent on the outside. Sterling Shepard is your best wide receiver. God damn it!
And that's not saying much.
Here's the thing. I think that Kenny Golladay, there's a prayer and a chance on him. So if you have a little bit of something there, like I said, a prayer and a chance.
That's what we're leaning on, a prayer and a chance. Fingers crossed, God damn it.
And McCall Hardman's a Hall of Famer.
We're all, and guess what? Odell Beckham has come out and he might, we might get a sweetheart deal with Odell because he loves New York. There's Saquon.
No, stop. You're having way too much faith in this situation.
David,
there's rumors.
Yeah.
David, if Kenny Golladay is back like this once in a blue moon chance, there's actually a chance that Velus Jones wins Rookie of the Year. We know that ain't happening. So I don't know what Taco's thinking.
There's like 10 million dominoes that have to fall the right exact way for all this shit to come into play, honestly.
And Taco, the last thing I want to say about the Giants, the last thing I want to say about the Giants is their secondary is not very good.
The Giants are the Lloyd. I love your I do love your pass rush, even with the Leonard Williams. But let's be real, the Giants are the Lloyd Christmas of the NFL. You know, that's honestly like what there are.
And what are the Jets? Then what are the Jets?
The Jets. I think the Jets. It all comes again, cliche to say. It comes down to, is Zach Wilson taking that next level leap? And I know there was a lot of rumors that were saying otherwise in the offseason about like maybe there's kind of a QB battle with Joe Flacco himself. And thus far, Joe Flacco, he's kind of been impressing through the first 2 weeks.
The good thing is Saleh has come out and said Zach Wilson's his guy. Once he's healthy, he's going in no matter what. I think he's sneaky this year.
If he comes out and he lives up to the hype, like I was kind of hyping him up in the offseason, then it's the Jets who are the more competent team than the Giants, you know, because I think they're both kind of, at quarterback. And I love the weapons that they have at their disposal. Garrett Wilson flourishing.
Don't let Taco distract you.
But sorry, what was the original question we were talking about? I'm totally
best and worst 2-0 teams.
So best
contenders and pretenders.
Yeah, the best 2-0 team right now, I would say, has to be the Buffalo Bills. I think, honestly, they are clicking. They are firing on all cylinders. They're so well-rounded. It's just, does the injury bug fuck it all up, you know? That's the big thing. They're without, like, 3/4 of their secondary right now. It sounds like Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer are both out, on top of Tre'Davious White, who's been out thus far this entire season. But I still think when they are healthy, when they are ready to go, man, holy shit, they've been the most impressive team thus far. And like I said, Tre'Davious White hasn't been healthy this entire season, and they still flat out dominate both the Rams and the Titans thus far through 2 games into 2022. They're a well-rounded team. They're a complete team. Josh Allen playing like an MVP candidate. His chemistry with Stefan Diggs is probably top 1 in the league.
They're the best team in New York. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have maybe the best QB wide receiver tandem outside of maybe a Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp. That's how great that chemistry is between them. I want to give a little bit of an honorable mention to the Dolphins. So they're kind of nipping at the heels if Tua can keep, continuing to execute. But I think, what Josh Allen does from a dual threat standpoint and just from a proven standpoint too, because it's so early on in terms of Tua, proving that he can be that guy. I still go with the Bills. The most overrated team, yeah, like I said, it's got to be the Giants.
So we're all right. So the 3 of us are all Bills Giants. So then Taco, what's
pretty
yours?
much, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So honestly, just for the sake of making it a little bit different,
I can take you off the screen, by the way.
Just let it know. Stop.
I'm actually gonna go with the Chiefs. You know why? Because goddamn it, we all thought you were gonna be shit. And that offense, you know what? Mahomes made the switch. He's like, all right, fuck this, just pushing it down the field.
They weren't gonna be shit.
What?
They weren't gonna be shit. We already knew that.
No, go ahead, Taco.
Mahomes has just changed the game. He said, you know what? I'm going to distribute to the open man.
He's giving you props right now. Stop.
Yeah, I'm going to take what I'm getting, and he's showing that, you know what? He's still, the big dick in the league. Like, you know what I mean? You got to fuck with me first. Yeah. Come for the king. So, and the defense, it while it's not great, it's good enough. And in that game versus Herbert, they hurt him. Period. Yeah. They did it. So at the end of the day, if that happens in the playoffs, what happens? You win that game. So I think that when you look at that team and the running backs, I mean, CEH is playing a lot better than
back right now.
Yeah, you have Pacheco, who I like, is coming up. You have the McKinnon as a pass catcher. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Sky Moore, I think he's really talented, and if he starts to emerge in that second half and gives you a nice vertical deep threat to go along with what you have, I think that's a scary team, because in the playoffs, when Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes met up, Pat Mahomes whipped it out and said, you know what? Mine's still bigger.
Yeah.
By
the way, Justin Herbert's rookie card sold for $1 million today. Only Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert are the only NFL quarterbacks to do so.
Holy shit. He's only in his, 3rd year in the league, and he's already selling $1 million. That's fucking insane.
Well, the thing is, I mean, when you look at his potential, that's why you want to get it now, because
true, but it's like I just never would have pictured in his 3rd year that value, even with
the pros that's what's super impressive.
It's the same thing. These collectors,
that's true.
Those one-of-one signatures are like, especially with a guy like him, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. It looks like.
Yeah. Oh, he's definitely poised to be. By the way, I want to plead a mea culpa for my ridiculous, probably cracked out prediction, thinking that the Chiefs were not going to potentially make the playoffs this year. I think that's already an absolute utter disgrace and total fuck up on my part.
You weren't the only one.
Yeah, honestly.
There's someone else that used to be on the show, that's on the show sometimes, that said the Chiefs were the worst team and the Raiders were the best.
Who was it? Was
Toby.
Yeah.
Toby said that freaking Z2 said that the Raiders were the best team and the Chiefs were going to be the worst.
Mm-hmm. And that's, I mean, I thought I had them at the bottom of the division, but that's only because of how tough that AFC West is. It was not because the Chiefs weren't a good enough team. I thought they were going to finish above 500, but the defense was going to plague them. The question marks at the running back position and Tyreek Hill's absence on top of that too kind of didn't bode well for their future. But so far, they have absolutely – I mean, when they beat the Chargers and kind of handily, even when Herbert was healthy, I have to say I was dead wrong. The Chiefs are going to the playoffs this year, and, I mean, it's got to be someone else that's going to be out of the mix for the playoffs. The Chiefs are fucking for real, I think.
The Raid is already down 0-2.
They got the best play caller in the league in Andy Reid. I mean, he proved us wrong that, fuck Tyreek Hill's absence. They don't need him, honestly.
And Travis Kelce is still there.
Exactly. Yeah. Travis Kelce is fucking up father
All
time
you need
right
is
now.
that nice safety blanket, that guy that can go in there and get you the ones that you need, especially when you come into the playoffs. You need a first down, and you need a touchdown, and you need that big play. Kelce's done it time and time again.
Robbie, after you talk, I have one thing I want to say about the Dolphins.
I've already.
You already went? Okay.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
So me and Robbie already knows this. what I'm going to bring up. There was a funny stat about Tua.
MVS fucking sucks.
And I'm gonna see how this works. Starting last year into this year so far, Tua has lost every single game that he has played against a quarterback with a last name with no O in their last name. So like Josh Allen, Derek Carr, all that. He's lost every game, right? But there's no O. It gets better. It gets better. He's won every game when they do have an O. Jackson. He's playing Burrow in Thursday night. So I'm picking them to lose against Buffalo, but beat Cincinnati just to see if it goes on.
I love that.
Who the fuck finds that information though?
CBS Sports.
When you get too high, when the fucking data analyst at the company at the broadcast company gets a little too high on his lunch break, that's the type of shit that happens, bro.
Every game with an O. He beat Zach Wilson, Mac Jones.
I'll end it with this. The Buccaneers are the worst 2-0 team, in my opinion, because what the fuck? How are they winning? They've had 39 points scored in their 2 games. It's
because they played the Cowboys and the Saints.
That's what I'm saying. They're the worst 2-0 team.
And that's the exact reason your team is the worst 2-0 team, because you beat the Panthers.
You know what? We got Saquon Barkley. He's better than everyone they have right now.
Yeah, up until the fourth quarter, Dak was healthy. They beat a Cowboys team that still had Dak. Like, I mean,
in game. It was the first game.
I know the Bucs offense has looked inept this far, but that defense is for real, man. They're ferocious.
Yeah, so we'll find out. We'll find out in week 4, okay people? In week 4, we'll really find out, okay, people?
Well, then this is a perfect time for week 3. Absolute must starts.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you set the tempo, Mike.
Yeah, let's go with you first, Mike.
My must start. I mean, I've already talked about my must start at quarterback, and that's freaking Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm obviously not talking about just straight up single QB, but if you need someone by injury, whatever, 2 QB, and you're playing Jared freaking Goff, and you're playing Jared Goff in some freaking DFS. I mean, that's hands down what you're doing. I honestly want to start every wide receiver in the freaking Buffalo freaking Miami game, because Buffalo's hurting DBs and their secondary is kind of suspect a little bit. They got decent, but it's Josh.
They still get turnovers.
They still can get turnovers. But at running back, gosh damn it.
I love that, Jamie.
Paying Goff over Brady and Russ. I could see that, yeah.
At running back, I think Javonte Williams is going to have a game.
Really? You think so?
Really?
Against the Niners?
No, I'm thinking the wrong team. Never mind. I want Debo. If George Kittle is more than 75% healthy, I want George Kittle with Jimmy G against the goddamn Broncos. Because Kittle did better with Jimmy G.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy G is I feel like is a pretty easy low hanging fruit must start. Just given the situation, and you probably got him in with the situation with Trey Lance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. David.
For me, guys that come to mind off the top of my head, QB, I think Patrick Mahomes up against the Colts this upcoming weekend. I think it's a pretty safe bet. I don't really trust this Colts secondary quite as much. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like Stephon Gilmore fitting into that secondary, but that's like really it in terms of all I love. I mean, I don't know. It's just like Kenny Moore, the second, he's okay, but no one's really moves the needle too much in that secondary. The Colts have looked like absolute garbage throughout the first, part of the season. Patrick Mahomes doesn't show any fucking signs of slowing down, man. I think he's gonna pick apart that Colts defense. Wide receiver wise, I would say Devontae Adams. Honestly, I think with Josh Jacobs out, it sounds like he's not going to be playing this upcoming week. Hunter Renfrow out with a concussion too. Like why the hell not play him up against excuse me, I'm blanking out right now. up against the Titans. Yeah, I mean, Kevin Byard's really their star guy out of everyone. So if he, is matched up in double coverage situations on Devontae Adams, then maybe it could be a dangerous play. But like, I think Devontae is such a freak of nature. He's the best receiver in the league. Play him. Like you're going to be fine with him, honestly. Running back wise, that's tough, honestly. I think maybe I don't even know, honestly. That's legitimately tough for me to answer.
Start
I think CH could be an interesting one. Yeah, that'd be a good one. I'd say DeAndre Swift would be not too shabby too up against that Vikings.
Oh, of course, you're always starting Swift. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Swift could be interesting. I know there's some playmakers on that. Daniel Hunter, I'm big on. Eric Kendricks in that Vikings front seven, but DeAndre Swift and the weapons they have, the offensive line, the Vikings defense that got kind of embarrassed last week too against Jalen Hurts and company. I think honestly, DeAndre Swift could be a safe bet against that front seven. And then tight end wise, I would say probably off the top of my head. Ooh, that's tough. This is going to be kind of outlandish.
We
know
are
what?
done
I know
with
he's
Chase
disappeared.
Evans. Chase Evans and Raheem Mostert are literally next to each other in the fucking rankings. You are done with those two.
Oh, you're talking about the comment. I thought you were talking about who I was, because I'm talking about tight ends. Kyle Pitts up against the Seattle defense.
Arthur Smith has to finally let him free.
This is the week. It has to be. He's an athletic freak of nature. Something has to give to where he gets the targets he needs to absolutely ball out. This is a generation, not even a generational talent. It's like once in a fucking lifetime talent, honestly, in Kyle Pitts. This has got to be the week he finally breaks out. Seahawks secondary, it's a shell of its. There's no fucking Legion of Boom back there, and they just lost Jamal Adams. So what are you fucking? Who's going to cover Kyle Pitts? Honestly, who's going to hold it down? Jordan Brooks, if anyone out of that linebacking core can kind of hold it down, if he's going to be covering him. But that's honestly best case scenario. Jamie's echoing my sentiment right there. Absolutely, Jamie, you're preaching the truth right now. Kyle Pitts is going to hold it down. So those are my must plays for this upcoming week.
Taco.
All right, so I think my must-play quarterback right now is probably one of the hottest waiver wire ads over the past week. You got to start Tua this week. This is a week you spent any kind of fab, you spent any kind of waiver on him, and you look at the matchup versus the Bills where Mike mentioned it. Mm-hmm. How many players out? How many key players in that secondary out? And now you're giving me Waddle and Hill after Tua shown some nice passing downfield. You know what? There's a chance that he's going to bust, but you know what? I'll take that chance because that upside right now seems really damn sexy to me.
I really wish he was available in my leagues.
Bro, for real. Like he was only available in one of my leagues, maybe two. There was 2 leagues that he was available because I do team single QBs. I'm not a big 2 QB league guy.
Even in my singles, he's already. I'm like, damn it.
I love your choice with Tua as a must play. The only thing I will say in terms of proceeding with caution is just because I love the Bills' defensive. I mean, Leslie Frazier is one of the best defensive coordinators, so he finds guys to plug in, and there's some special athletes that are going to be plugged into Sunday's game. That's the only reason I would have some question marks, but the absences are glaring. Where literally
the only reason why I think it's going to be hard for him to do that is because of the elite speed that Waddle and Hill present.
Yes,
which changes the game a little bit. Like you can normally plug and play, but it's really hard to like scheme for that kind of speed because that kind of speed breaks the game.
And you know who first and third in the league are right now in receiving? It's fucking Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah,
they're first and third in the league in receiving yards. It's crazy.
That's one thing that I'm definitely looking at. Then at running back, for me, it's been Mostert. If you can get him, and I know I'm going back to back.
Why would you just say that after what I just said?
What?
Neither of them are. I think what they have like a total 1.6 fantasy points, like average. Like what the fuck?
You're right. I understand what you're saying, but if you're looking at his availability, he's like only 50%, 56% rostered in Yahoo leagues, and the fact that now he's becoming more of the lead back and he's starting to take over that position. Granted, they haven't been great yet, but that's a team that traditionally is going to like to run, and that while it's not figured out now, for a long term, he's interesting. And in this Buffalo game, he's interesting because I do think that he can make a couple of big plays. And then the other guy, if he's out, Jacobs, Zaire White, he's the play. He's
Yeah.
available right now everywhere. He's going to probably get the bulk of the carries. I think he's going to be an interesting ass player. But again, you have to see if he's available. That's going to be the number one, caveat to that. At wide receiver, obviously, it's been probably the best wide receiver right now, Stefan Diggs. I think Stefan Diggs is a must play versus that Miami secondary.
That's easy. That's low hanging fruit.
You're right. So then if I go for I had another one queued up, so don't you worry. It just eluded me for the second.
Do not say Sterling Shepard.
No. I mean, someone sneaky that
Kenny Golladay.
someone sneaky that I'm playing is Tyler Lockett versus Atlanta this week.
I think like that.
I think that this is a week where he could actually be pretty useful. Last week he got a lot of the short game. I think the running game really hasn't been that great, which is going to open up more things for him. More than likely, it's going to be a negative game script, so they're going to have to be throwing late. So I think his garbage time opportunity is fucking amazing. So I kind of like me some Tyler Lockett there.
Probably the most underrated receiver in the league, too. I mean,
for real,
he balls out, man.
And then at tight end, I think it's between two guys that I'm pretty much starting in two leagues. It's Logan Thomas and it's Tyler Conklin. I think we've seen over the tight end is a shit show. You're banking on guys like Cole Kmet who can't do anything.
Yeah.
And
Irv
Smith, first game, Irv Smith was running as the number 2. Second game, he got a little bit of play, but that Minnesota offense, I mean, what do you really expect? They've only scored 30 points so far in the season. And you're hoping that now that we're past Monday night, Kirk Cousins can really start rolling. But Irv Smith has been a little bit shaky. And personally, I feel safer with the Logan Thomas, and with Joe Flacco being the quarterback, I think Conklin offers you at least one more week of solid play. He's a plug and play. He's a DFS guy, but that would be my guy.
So really quick, I'm so happy that Jamie, like I would love it if Jamie was on here with us, but he's in the chat stealing my takes. I'm now fuck, I got reverse because I do like Myers, I do like Kurt. Those were guys that I was going to bring up. But since I can't do that, okay.
You could.
I no, I can't. No. A direction that I am willing to go. I'm fuck. Now I'm trying to think because I had it in my head and I lost it. Someone already echoed the Tyler Lockett. That's a good one. Rashad Perriman may not be a bad play. If you're in a serious position where you don't have Evans. Keenan Allen is going to be if suddenly announced that he's not going to play, whatever the case may be. I think that's a direction that you could go just for a week to stream. I don't know about my confidence level in Marquise Brown. The volume is definitely starting to get there, but and obviously they have that connection, Kyler and him. But it's the Rams. So I feel you're bold if you do that. I want to bring up Garrett Wilson. He said, "My bad, bro." No, dude, that's why you're my bro. Great minds think alike. It's you're still on set with us. Honestly, I love it. Because if you were here, that would have happened naturally. Garrett Wilson, though, I feel is kind of a no-brainer just because of how pass-heavy this Jets offense is. And everyone's like, "Oh, it's Michael Carter." I really feel it's Garrett Wilson up there. You're not starting either of the running backs for the Jets this week just because the volume's not there. We don't know what's happening back there with that situation yet. But I think the Jets are slowly making a name for themselves as being a fantasy-friendly team. Also, that rush defense for the Bengals is top-notch. Trey Henderson is going to bottle up both those running backs multiple times. So something to kind of worry about there. But I don't feel you have to worry about the receivers in that matchup. I'm going to keep saying it until you guys fucking get it. Start your Commanders. Start them all.
All three of them.
Logan as well. Start them all.
Oh yeah.
I really, really think doesn't Marquise Brown have a great matchup? I mean, it's the Rams.
So I have one more to add. I have one more to throw onto this, and it has to do with Marquise. Rondell Moore is out again. I'm sorry. Give me Dortch. That offense is going to be Dorchified, baby.
Freaking Marcus and I were both high on Dortch. Here's the thing: the Cardinals do this year after year after year, and we learned this lesson with Andy Isabella. As great as we thought that he was going to be, and a great guy and everything, they had too many fucking receivers to where
Yeah.
You know, they this is a team that has deep receiver rooms.
Yep.
You know,
I like Dortch now, but trust me, in week 7, I don't like Dortch. But in week
Right.
3, I
You know,
do.
you know who I like that's deep? I like Zay Jones this weekend. I think he's
Really?
going to be interesting.
Against the Chargers secondary?
Yeah. You remember, it's going to be an interesting field position battle because you have no Herbert, so that offense isn't going to be quite as good.
I'll touch on that game.
And Trevor Lawrence hasn't looked bad. Trevor Lawrence has looked pretty damn good so far.
We'll get to that game's coming up in a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that in the next segment, which we're probably gonna get into like right about now, just because I feel like it's appropriate. Yeah, that's where I would play starts and sits. Oh, start David Montgomery. Don't start the Bears receivers, but start David Montgomery.
Oh, no. Never start the Bears receivers if you ask me.
but here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say to that. Here's what I'll say to that is to all the Khalil Herbert truthers. I know I'm one of them, being a Hokie fan. The time will come, and probably that'll come right about like midway of the season, like week 8-ish, week 9-ish. But right now, you got to hold tight. But I think that Montgomery is a smash play this week. Despite how bad the situation is in Chicago, because they can't go to the air, they have to do something.
Yeah,
that's something.
Mm-hmm.
Getting into the next segment here, our best bets.
You go first
for the week. Yeah, I actually am going to go first. I feel like
I already know where you're going, so you go first.
You need to be taking Jacksonville. Like, I think that Jacksonville's going to pull this out by 1. You need the way that line has moved. Vegas knows something that we don't know yet, and we kind of already know it because of that line. Okay. With that being said, I think that Jacksonville pulls this out via the extra point by 1. I know that it's risky. You're talking about something by the skin of your teeth. If there's a time that it could happen, if there's an upset that could happen, do it. The Sharps have already moved on it. The Casuals are going to see, the Chargers are still a favorite. Which is going to keep Jacksonville underdog on the line. So that's mine for the week.
Yeah, Mike.
So I got 2. There is a lot of road favorites, which kind of scares me. But one is going to tick somebody off on this panel, and the other is not. So I'm going to say the one that's not going to tick somebody off first. I'm taking the Niners to destroy the -1.5 road favorite in Denver. I think they're going to win by about a touchdown. I don't think Denver is going to win that game. I think the Niners have a good enough front 7 to get to Russell Wilson with that damn pass rush because that offensive line isn't that great.
That pass rush gets freaky.
Yeah, that pass. I mean, Bosa is a beast himself. Mm-hmm. Thank you, all 22. I don't remember if it's. I honestly don't remember if it's the versus Robbie lineup or not, but I have him in one. So I just think Jimmy G and that Jimmy G's better for that team. Russell Wilson's still struggling, and the biggest thing is Nathaniel Hackett will call a timeout when he shouldn't, or call a challenge 30 seconds into the game and then be mad that he doesn't have it at the end of the game. The other one is a road dog. Sorry, Gillespie.
Oh, you got to be. I knew you were fucking doing this shit. Don't say it. Don't you?
I'm taking Houston +3 on the road.
Yeah, I'm taking Houston +3 on the road. Yeah.
Sorry, Dave. It's General Mills. It's General Mills is on it on the case.
This is Raj level betrayal when he posed as fucking Geriatric Jones. This is that level betrayal right here.
Well, there's been 2 Geriatric Jones in the chat today. 2.
They're like fucking whack-a-moles that just don't die, They just keep popping up, Oh my god, that is
you're
Houston. Davis fucking Mills. Oh my god.
I love Houston. I love Houston over Chicago.
Oh, I mean,
hey, Houston might not be the worst team in that division.
Oh my god.
It might be Tennessee. It still could be Indy.
Oh God!
Because,
Indy's
like I
awful.
said, Jacksonville's winning the freaking division, bitches.
Indy's awful. I don't think Indy covers.
That had to be the wildest take I've heard on the show. Is Jacksonville winning the division? I remember when you said that.
I've been saying it.
And my jaw, like, I mean, it parted, like, it dropped. So, I mean, it was like a yard long drop to the fucking ground, man. I mean, I couldn't believe that.
Hey, they're the only team with a win in the division.
Yeah, you know, touche. You know what? Too fucking shay. Okay.
What you got, David?
You know, okay, my safest bets, yeah, don't bet. Hell no, I'm saying my Bears will come out with a win against Houston, so that's for damn sure not what I'm going to be betting. No, what I'm betting though, for sure, I'm going to say, whoo, you know, that's tough. I'm going to say Tampa Bay cover. You know, Tampa Bay holds it down at home this week. I think they get the job done. The defense and the run game will complement, and may not be the passing attack. With all things considered, this is not going to be Aaron Rodgers. This is going to be Aaron Rodgers' situation where he's going to fall to 1-2 again for the second time since 2014. Now,
what's the line on that, Mike?
Yeah, I'm curious. What is it?
I got it right here. Literally. Tampa Bay 1.5 fave.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay, honestly, they hold it down this week, you know. They could maybe even, I mean, it's possible they could maybe even win by 2 possessions. I could see that happening. I love the way their defense is playing. I think that front seven in the Packers, it can be dangerous, but it's some inconsistency. We saw that last week where Khalil Herbert and Dave Montgomery went off. I mean, David Montgomery looked like fucking Walter Payton out there last week. I mean, did you watch his highlights? Like, he was shifting, he was moving guys, he was shaking guys. Like, it was crazy. It was absolutely.
You just compared him to Walter freaking Payton?
Just that 1 week. It was like the spirit, like, you know, like it was summoned inside David Montgomery.
It's that
just
medicine getting to his ass.
No, it's yeah. I think honestly, Bucks hold it down. You know, I think they hold it down at home at Raymond James Stadium. This is not the struggles continue for Aaron Rodgers to get that offense going. If you want to, you know, exclude last week where he kind of got things going against my Bears, but I think going up against,
I feel like you have to because it's the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, he always dominates. He fucking owns us. He tramp stamps us. It's like we're his fucking gimp in his case. Like he fucking owns us, you know. And then I think if I had to give one other bet, I would probably say the Rams hold it down up against Arizona. You know, I don't try even on the road in that situation, heading to State Farm Stadium. I do not like the way that this defense is really complimenting Kyler Murray to where he's kind of having to need a single-handed Herculean effort to come away with wins.
I think you hedge that one.
3.5.
I think that's the one to hedge.
3.5 road favorite over and under 40 over under 48.5.
Those are my safe bets, honestly. You know, it just I think that you know, the Rams, with the way they lit up the Atlanta Falcons last week, that was kind of a tune-up game for them to get things going. I really think, honestly, I don't trust the Cardinals. I really don't trust their offense. The ground game hasn't really gotten going to complement Kyler Murray. We saw what happened last week. There were so many game-changing plays, and I know it didn't show up necessarily on the stat sheet, but so many game-changing plays came down to solely Kyler Murray himself. And I don't trust that up against this Rams team this week where you got that 1-2 punch in Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp. You know, Allen Robinson is starting to get things going slowly but surely. I think this could be a potential coming out week for him to where he lights up this Cardinals secondary. Because even this Cardinals secondary, it's not really anything to be glorifying too much. Yeah, it's Budda Baker and a little bit of Byron Murphy at best. I really don't trust anything else in that secondary. I think they're a safe bet, honestly.
Jamie, I like both of those props on Leonard Fournette just because of, like you said, the depleted offense. Taco, your best bets. Shit.
I mean, for me, I guess my best bet is the bet that I'm actually going to be placing. I like the Eagles money line versus the Commanders. I just think that they're going to win. I don't care what the Commanders do. Jalen Hurts is on a mission. He wants to be MVP. Mm-hmm. He wants to have a great season. Like he said, they're not even cooking yet. They're not even all there yet. They haven't played their best game yet. And I do think that the Eagles are head and shoulders above every other team in the NFC East. The next one, I like the Lions money line, and I like the Lions +6 versus the Vikings. I do not trust the Vikings at all. I like the way the Lions have looked. I think that the number 2 pick, they pick Aiden Hutchinson, I think his name. I forgot his name.
He is off
Aiden
the
Hutchinson.
fucking leash. He is straight.
Yeah.
Feeling like a freak on the leash.
He's gonna fuck up Cousins this night. But I'm taking that money line because while I do think the lines are crazy, +6 is very nice. I'm going real risky. I'm going straight money line on that. KC versus the Colts. Colts have been absolute ass cheeks.
Yeah.
Chiefs are on fucking fire.
A lot of
Give
people
me
are
that.
saying that Indy covers. What do you think about that?
I'm staying away. I'm not answering it.
I'm taking the money line. I don't know what the total points in or what the spread is in that one. I'm taking the money line Chiefs in that one. And
It's
then
only-
because I'm doing it as one parlay, and then I'm taking the Ravens money line versus the Patriots.
Yeah.
Patriots offense has been shit.
Good about that.
One
Patriots
thing
fucking
is,
suck.
we know the Ravens
Yeah,
are going to
I think
fucking score. So that 14 parlay, $25 wins me $260. That's my best bet of the night. Or
So the
day.
Chiefs on the money line are -230.
Yep.
Five and a half point spread.
Yeah, I don't think the Indy covers that.
I refuse to answer.
Indy's going to get their backs blown out. Like Matt Ryan's not him anymore.
Like if I was risky, I would take the Lions and the Chiefs.
There's going to be no Michael Pittman.
Oh
yeah, is he inactive?
Oh,
I believe so.
Questionable.
Yeah,
he's practicing though. He had a good interview, they say. So
because he was out last week, right?
But he actually did an interview, so that kind of led you believe that he's probably going to play.
And still no Shaquille Leonard too.
All the time, beat.
Yeah.
That's another big thing. Still no Shaquille Leonard, man. I think that not only the Chiefs win, they'll dominate, and Patrick Mahomes minimum 3 touchdown passes. Like that's how comfortable I feel about the Chiefs heading to Lucas Oil and fucking up the Colts. Honestly,
I wonder if I did all this with points, what it would be.
There's somewhere there's going to be a pissed off Pat McAfee.
The only thing that scares me,
yeah.
the only thing that scares me is that we're looking forward.
We're looking what?
That the Chiefs are looking forward to the next 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
That's the only thing that scares me.
I don't think
they should
have that mindset anymore.
We play Tampa and the Raiders, and then Tampa, then Buffalo.
You're heading at Tampa. Shit.
That's what, and Sunday night. That's what I'm saying.
Fuck.
That's why I said when you guys were joking around about Tampa not beating these, I said we'll find out next week.
Yeah, they could get healthy by then. That's the thing too. You know,
it's this week. I feel like it's the week that, like, even from like a DFS standpoint, you're building probably like a lot more showdowns, like single game showdowns, versus like trying to build like a whole ass fucking slate. Don't get me wrong, I'm still dropping the fucking whole Sunday slate lineup for you guys in the Discord, okay? But that aside, okay, that aside, I think that this is a good week to get into some single game showdowns, and I think it's going to be a profitable week on showdowns. We knew that whole slate. We knew that last week whole slate for DFS was going to be baller for us, and we made it baller for us.
As long as I beat you in that DFS showdown, the Alberto's contest, I
played you in. Is Jamie in that poll too?
I don't know if he got in the Sunday one, but I did.
Taco, you want in this shit? $2 pool?
Fuck yeah. Are you kidding me? I was about to ask to get in that bitch.
I saw your face light the fuck up.
Like, yo, I love that kind of shit,
so he's like, motherfucker, that's a pack of diapers, bitch. Like, let's go.
Like, yo, I can't lie. I love this kind of like betting, DFS.
I'll send you a link. You don't have DraftKings yet, right?
Yeah, bro. I switched from FanDuel to DraftKings. I feel
okay, so you already have DraftKings.
Yeah,
okay,
I just put that parlay on DraftKings.
Yeah. Huh?
I just did that parlay that I just said on DraftKings.
Oh, nice.
I actually played it 25 to win 260.
Yo, that's what we do. That's what we do. We place these fucking bets, and that's what our Discord chat is for. That's our receipts.
Yeah,
like, you know,
yeah.
Let's go. Like, we're ready to fucking run and gun it. This
I don't talk no shit that I don't feel.
This week, like how we walked into last week feeling this last week humbled us. So we need to keep that in mind whenever we hit the books this week, ladies and gentlemen. But there's cash to be made.
Yeah.
There's definitely cash to be made. So Sunday morning, like we're gonna get into it. We're gonna really explain some things and talk about talk about our lineups, get everything broken down for you, getting into some major fucking stats. Because it's the season's now progressing.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
He knows I like my weird stats.
Yep.
So question:
Yep.
when do you guys think that Chris Olave finally breaks out?
Chris Olave, he's already starting to like.
He already started.
Yeah,
But it hasn't happened yet. But when do you think it happens?
This week.
This week. I like it.
I think it's possible. I don't know. There's so many mouths to feed in that receiving core with Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry. I mean, they both had shown legit flashes of greatness this far this year. It's going to be interesting with Olave because, he's rookie. He's still finding his rhythm. He had a great last week with 80 yards, but I think he'll have a serviceable year. I don't know if he's going to prove to be. I could see him still being wide receiver 3 on this team when it's all said and done in production wise, because I mean, I still love Thomas, even with the injury concern that, he came into the season with. And Landry, man, Landry's a weird guy because he never really just explodes onto the scene with like crazy taking over game level production, but he's always like, he's going to have so much longevity in his career. I feel like he's such a sneaky good play here and there to where he's a consistent guy. He's going to have a consistent career. So
I think the Saints are going to tear up the Panthers this week.
Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, Panthers are Matt Rule. Like his days they were already fucking numbered coming to the season. Okay, and holy shit, like he could be fired as soon as like week 6 or some shit like that. I wouldn't be shocked.
Did you guys see? I think it was Dan Orlovsky was doing the whole thing with Christian McCaffrey lining up in shotgun. When he lined up right next to Baker Mayfield, it was a pass. But when he lined up one step behind him in shotgun, it was a run. He showed it on like different plays. And you're like, here's the tell. When they're in shotgun, Christian McCaffrey right next to him, pass. And Christian McCaffrey one step behind, run. Every single one of them. He's like, this is coaching malpractice. This is why you should get fired.
Straight up bullshit. I think you're referring to there was a stat where like when they allowed 17 plus points per game, 17 or more points per game, he was like 1 in like 30 or some shit like that. Like some crazy stat like that. Yeah. Where they allow 17 or more points, only 17 or more. That's ridiculously embarrassing.
Yeah, the Panthers thought that they were gonna get what Zach Taylor did last year for Cincinnati, and that's just not the case.
No.
By the way, I think Cincinnati gets ready to turn that thing the fuck around.
I hope so. They should. They really should. I'm honestly absolutely shocked with the way they played this far.
Oh yeah. But a little Super Bowl hangover. I mean, it happens to most teams.
It's only 2 weeks too in the season.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Rumboyz After Dark. Earlier you said play all Commanders, but temper expectations with McLaurin, with Slay on them. Oh yeah, but I think that Wentz is smart enough to throw away from him, and like McLaurin's quick enough to still get his and still eat. For what you paid for McLaurin, you kind of got to play him. I mean, honestly. Offer guy Duvernay for Olave. The dude laugh at me and then turn around and sold Tua for Thielen. What an idiot. That's what he did. Any last words? We'll go around the horn. We'll start with Mike.
Nope. You can find me at Drop the Mic FF. You can find me over at Going for Two on Tuesday nights on the Fantasy Cheat Sheet at 9:30 Eastern for you East Coast folks and 6:30 West Coast like me and David. Mm-hmm. Other than that, dilly. There
you go.
Yeah. David.
You can find me at David G Sports TV. You can also find my other podcast at TBQ Football at TBQ Sports. It's the Twitter handle, TBQ Sports, that is. We go live every Wednesday. It's going to be Wednesday from now on. Sometimes we go up to Thursdays. Occasionally do a pregame before the Thursday night game, depending on our work schedules. But it sounds like consistently it's going to be Wednesday from here on out at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Every Wednesday, talking all things NFL. Previewing games. That's our particular format that we go by. So feel free to hop in the chat if you got the time and you want to find something similar to what these dope ass dudes bring up here every Friday.
Hell yeah. Taco.
I guess you can find me guys at Twitter at TDS Taco. That's probably my most active platform at the moment.
Thank you, John.
I've been talking with the crew about pulling back some of our shows, so I'm probably going to start doing a couple more lives now and really just kind of doing player and waiver breakdowns, because my favorite thing is to look at available players that are on the scrap heap and try to see who's good for a week or good long-term play. So that's what you guys could expect from me from the rest of the month. It really depends on how my son goes. I have a brand new son, 4 months old. Dude. So he's taking up a lot of my time. So I haven't seen me on here in a while. I hope to start coming back with some consistency as he starts to learn to sleep for a little bit longer, where I can actually do a whole show and not have to get up and get him. So I'm excited to be back in the fold. I love to be on this show. I love the knowledge that you guys bring. You got a lot of good start and sit player advice. You got some good bet advice, and you got some fun commentary, I hope. And Robbie, I love being on the show, and it was good shit, brother.
Hell yeah, bro. It's always a pleasure. Mike, go ahead and set up to get ready to roll credits here.
Ready.
Roll outro.
I'm literally ready.
Okay, bet. You guys can find me everywhere. Rumboyz Robbie or Rumboyz spelled with Z-N-E-T. Rumboyz Fantasy Network. You literally type it in, like, we fucking pop up everywhere. It's kind of what happens when you become a dinosaur in this fantasy space. Dude, it's a real thing. I didn't realize until someone told me that I was a fantasy dinosaur the other day. I was like, oh fuck. So yeah, I've been at this, since like 2018. Like, holy fuck, yeah, I'm getting up there now. But no, I mean, that aside, make sure you guys, check out all the content, scroll to the YouTube page, share the content, like, comment, and subscribe. This hottie toddy is whooping my ass, so I'm ready to go fucking lay in my bed. I drank like this whole fucking cup.
Damn, dude, turning up over there. I see in Colorado.
Some tea, some honey, a couple shots, and yeah.
Do the final cheer. Do the final cheer.
Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Rumboyz and girls. What it do, dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.